All right, let's dive into something that's going to be a huge deal for Nepal over the next 5 years, the 16th National Plan. Now, this isn't just some dry government paper. Think of it as the official roadmap for where the country is headed. We're talking good governance, social justice, and of course, prosperity. Let's unpack what's inside.
So, what's the actual game plan? As the country faces new challenges and tries to grab new opportunities, where is it all heading? The 16th plan is the government's detailed answer to that exact question.
But here's the thing. To really understand where we're going, we've got to take a quick look back at where we've been. This new plan didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's built on decades of lessons learned from all the development efforts that came before.
Nepal's whole journey with plan development actually started way back in 2013 BS, that's on the Nepali calendar, with the very first 5-year plan. Then we saw a whole series of plans come and go through the Panchaya era, then more after democracy was restored. And most recently, we had the 15th plan, which just wrapped up after facing some pretty serious headwinds.
Yeah, the 15th plan had some big ambitions, but reality definitely hit hard. Its performance just didn't meet the goals it set out. A lot of that was due to huge external shocks nobody saw coming, like the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine conflict. But we also had some of our own internal structural issues to deal with. All of that made it crystal clear that a new, more resilient strategy was needed.
So what's the grand vision this time around? Well, it's all captured in a pretty powerful national aspiration, one that focuses not just on money and wealth, but on personal well-being too. This has been the long-term national vision for a while, and it's still the guiding star for the 16th plan. The ultimate goal is a country that doesn't just have a strong economy, but one where citizens are healthy, educated, and happy, living dignified lives. So the billion-dollar question is, how do we actually get there? Well, the plan starts with a really bold economic target. By the end of this 5-year period, in the fiscal year 2085/86, the goal is to hit an average economic growth rate of 7.3%. That's a pretty ambitious number. Okay, but what does that big percentage actually mean for the average person? Well, the target is to boost the per capita income up to $2,351. This basically translates that big abstract economic number into a real tangible goal for individual prosperity. And prosperity isn't just about what's in your wallet. It's also about people, about human capital. So the plan is also aiming for a 95% literacy rate among everyone age 5 and up. It's a recognition that, hey, an educated population is the real foundation of a developed nation. Those are some ambitious goals, right? So let's get into the nitty-gritty. How is this all supposed to happen? Let's break down the economic strategy, starting with the big question. Where's the investment going to come from to power all this growth? And this is a really key part of the whole strategy. The plan is banking heavily, and I mean heavily, on the private sector to drive this growth. It's expected to bring in over 2/3 of the total investment. The public sector? It has a crucial supporting role for sure, but the main engine of this plan is meant to be private enterprise. This all points to a massive structural shift in the economy. The goal is to move away from relying so much on agriculture and really boost the contribution from other sectors like industry and services. It's a classic move you see when a developing economy is trying to shift into a higher gear. Of course, an economic transformation like this doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It needs huge investments in the fundamentals, the physical infrastructure, the roads and power, and in the people themselves. So to power all this new economic activity, the plan calls for a gigantic leap in energy production. We're talking about more than quadrupling the total electricity generation capacity to almost 12,000 megawatts. That's a huge increase. And to connect all the markets and all the people, there's another ambitious goal: to expand the network of paved national highways to over 13,000 kilometers. Because better roads mean goods and services can move faster, which is just vital for growth. And right here, this is where we see the direct investment in people. The plan sets these concrete targets to drastically reduce maternal and child mortality rates. And check this out. A massive goal to make sure that every single educational institution in the country has internet access. These aren't just stats. They represent longer, healthier, more connected lives for everyone. Now, a plan this ambitious is obviously going to face some serious hurdles. The document itself is pretty realistic about the challenges that are lying in wait on the path to success. So, making this a success really hinges on tackling some big issues. Things like ensuring good governance and managing public money effectively, actually getting that huge amount of private investment we saw earlier, cutting through all the red tape, maintaining political stability, and, this is a big one, making sure all three levels of government, federal, provincial, and local, are all working together smoothly. Which brings us to a final and, I think, a really crucial question. The government has laid out the blueprint, sure, but a plan is only as good as its implementation, right? So to make this ambitious vision a reality, what's the role and the responsibility of every single citizen? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for watching.